funding for voter turnout, calling it a kickback scheme. Not only has BJP now accused Congress party of using foreign support to influence elections, but also labelled the leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi as a tool for foreign agencies. The BJP was prompt to link Trump's comments to Congress leader Rahul Gandhi's 2023 remarks in London about global concerns over Indian democracy and how NGOs connected with the Grand Old Party were using foreign funds to influence the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Earlier too, the BJP has claimed that in 2012, under the leadership of S.Y. Qureshi, the Election Commission of India had signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the International Foundation for Electoral Systems, or the IFES, which they claim is linked to investor George Soros's Open Society Foundations, primarily funded by USAID. Qureshi, of course, has rejected these claims. The Congress party, on the other hand, has been demanding a white paper. They have accused the BJP of hypocrisy, accusing the Prime Minister of maintaining a smiling face when the US President threatened reciprocal tariffs and threatened to also end the BRICS during Prime Minister's recent visit to the White House. But the big burning question raised by the US President remains: why is the US concerned about voter turnout in India? In a renewed attack on foreign aid programs, US President Donald Trump has once again hit out at the now cancelled $21 million fund for voter turnout in India. He's of course called it a kickback scheme. I must also tell you that this is the third time that the US President has referred to this amount of $21 million. But now news reports have also fact-checked Donald Trump. The question that arises: was this a case of interference in foreign election, or was there a misinterpretation of the facts? Let's take you through the facts we've gathered so far. Donald Trump has claimed that the $21 million USAID grant was sanctioned for India to influence the country's electoral process. However, the news report that has surfaced today contradicts Donald Trump's statement, revealing that $21 million USAID fund was actually sanctioned in 2022, not for India, but for Bangladesh. Donald Trump further has asserted that the USAID grant was intended to increase the voter turnout in India. On the other hand, the news report has countered the US President's claim, stating that no USAID funding has been directly linked to elections in India since the year 2008. Trump also added that the USAID funds was intended to influence political outcomes in India, implying that the funding was part of an effort to get somebody elected. Contradicting Trump's allegations, the news report says that the record shows $13 million out of $21 million USAID grant was already spent in Bangladesh. The face-off now between BJP and Congress has also escalated over the USAID grant after the news report claimed that the funds were allocated to Bangladesh, not India, as was initially suggested by the BJP. Look at what the Congress is saying. It's launched a scathing attack at the BJP, accusing the Saffron Party of distorting facts, alleging the funding was clearly allocated to Bangladesh in support of voter turnout initiatives, not India. The BJP has refuted that claim, saying that the Congress's accusations, stating that there is a clear distinction between the $21 million allocated for India and the separate $29 million that were granted to Bangladesh, both referred to by the US President and DOJ. Congress alleges the initial misrepresentation of the funding source originated in Washington, and BJP is amplifying the US claims. In response, the BJP has firmly rejected Congress's accusations, saying that the $21 million USAID grant was indeed allocated for India and the $29 million grant was for Bangladesh. Congress has accused the Bharatiya Janata Party of spreading false information about USAID grant, claiming that the party's initial statements have now been exposed. In retaliation, the Bharatiya Janata Party has dismissed the claims made by Congress, accusing the news report of echoing a certain political narrative that's being put forward by the leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi, as it is parroting Rahul's line of argument and does not present an objective view of the situation. So as the USAID storm continues to snowball, let's also take you through some of the key questions that this entire controversy has raised so far. Why is the CEPPS website now inaccessible? Remember, if it was operating, one could have still had a look at the filings, the annual filings of the funding. What are the annual filings of the CEPPS, as their website is now defunct? That's the second question. And how transparent is USAID's disbursement process? Will the Indian government ever be able to track this entire funding? And how USAID ensures that their funding is not being misused? How is it allocating that funding? That's another key question that stands as of now. So as this USAID storm snowballs, is it interference or misinterpretation? That's a key question we'll be posing to our guests in just a bit. Stay tuned.
And $21 million for voter turnout in India. Why are we caring about India turnout? Because nobody has any idea what's going on.
We don't know where those funds have gone. We don't know where those funds came from. अगर आपको संशय है तो चलिए 70 साल का पूरा श्वेत पत्र निकालिए।
पूरा देश जान गया है कि राहुल गांधी गद्दार हैं। मोदी जी से नफरत करते करते वो कोई भी ऐसी गतिविधियों में लिप्त पाए जा सकते हैं, चाहे वो देश विरोधी क्यों ना हो, अगर मोदी जी को नुकसान हो और भारत को नुकसान हो।
All right, let me introduce our esteemed panelists today. I'm joined in by Charu Pragya, who's a spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, Arshpreet Kadial, who's a spokesperson for the Congress Party, Ayush Nambiar, who's a political analyst, and Avishwar Singhvi, who's an advocate at the Supreme Court. Many thanks to you, Charu, and the gentlemen for joining in. Charu, I think the key allegation also coming in from the Congress Party today is that if there was an election interference being targeted by the United States, and if there was a memorandum of understanding signed under the UPA era in the year 2012, then it was the BJP which won the elections in 2014. Then why point fingers towards the Congress Party?
Akanksha, good evening. This issue has been complicated needlessly, and I want to break it down to explain a few things. One, let's understand, UPA received 204 million. That's the amount of money UPA government received. NDA got 1.5 million. Look at the difference right there. So who has managed to keep foreign interference at bay? It's obviously the NDA. Now, let's come one step down. When this kind of money is being given to the government of India for developmental projects, at the same time, independent NGOs are getting funded. And you know how much funding these independent NGOs got while the government of India, when NDA was in power, got a mere 1.5 million? They got 2,579 million US dollars. So look at that number. 2,500 plus thousand US dollars were given to independent NGOs in India. They could have been advocacy groups, they could have been individuals, or they could have been different NGOs. And all of this data we have. Another thing to notice here is that this kind of funding has spiked at the time when political activity has been at a high in India, and I will give you examples. It spiked during the farmers' protest. It spiked during the Bharat Jodo Yatra. All of these things come together and point at one thing. This money was being given to people who were funding anti-India activities. Now, I am going to quote some of the things Rahul Gandhi has said, and he says it with a lot of brazenness, a lot of shamelessness. Once he said that he is not fighting against just the BJP or the RSS, he is fighting against the state of India itself. Imagine a statement like that coming from the leader of opposition of the Indian Parliament. It is beyond terrible. And did we hear a peep of apology? No, it was not a mistake. He said it and he meant it. I'll give you another example. Recently, when he was in London, he appealed to Europe and to America and said, what are you doing? Why are you not coming and interfering in democracy in India? Inviting them to come and interfere in democracy in India, because him and his party have been on a spate of losses. So, all of this adds up and shows that the protests that have been going on in India, the narrative building in a terrible and a negative way, which has been anti-India internationally, has been going on here. Even during COVID, there has been a series of articles, conversations which tried to show India in a bad light. And who was the one who was the force behind all of this? The very man who goes crying around everywhere कि संविधान खतरे में है. और संविधान को खतरे में डाला किसने? आपने. हर बार विदेश में जाकर वहां से हेल्प मांगकर, वहां से पैसे मांगकर, यहाँ पर गलत चीजों के लिए उस पैसे को इस्तेमाल करने के लिए. So everybody is currently discussing 21 million, which comes to 180 crores. Let me say this. Do you know the amount of money which is not being discussed and which has been given to various NGOs in India only in the last 10 years of NDA Sarkar? 22,000 crore. 22,000 crore. We need to know where this money has gone. We need to know where this money has been used and what it has been used for.
But Charu, then by that
for
logic, I think the government at par is going to do that answering in terms of investigating where that funding has now arrived. I'm sure even if it was, say, for social protection or human rights, or to increase democratic participation, where's the money?
Yeah. So last thing. Let me say this last thing. You know that over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of discussion about FCRA licenses being cancelled in India to various NGOs. So lots of NGOs have gone around complaining and crying because their FCRA licenses are getting cancelled. And these are big NGOs, international NGOs. There were some local NGOs. All of them have said this for one reason, because the source of their funding was dirty and unclean. Government of India has taken a stand against it and plugged it, and whatever loopholes still might remain and whatever funding is coming into India to fund all these anti-India activities will be plugged in further.
Okay, I'm sure Arshpreet would like to now come in, step in, Arshpreet, because I think the biggest allegation, and I'll say it's almost an insult when Rahul Gandhi, who's the leader of opposition, is being labelled as a tool for foreign agencies.
Well, I was hoping that the Bharatiya Janata Party today would start with an apology, because they have misled the nation, they have lied to the people of India, and they should take responsibility for that. A case should be registered against all the senior leaders who lied. Number two, they have concocted this story for a reason. There's an agenda behind it, which is to divert attention. Divert attention from their failure to protect the citizens of India, to protect their human rights when they were being chained, they were being handcuffed, their human rights were being violated, and they were being put in a military plane which landed on Indian soil. They wanted to divert attention from that. Number three, Indian Express is not a political party. It's very, very credible. And when the report says that the funds did not come to India, it went to Bangladesh, what does the Bharatiya Janata Party have to say to that?
No, you don't question Bharatiya Janata Party. Are you questioning the US President?
That's been retracted.
Arshpreet, it is what
that's
the US President has said.
Arshpreet, by the way, you're a little behind on the news. Arshpreet is behind on the news, Akansha. That news has been retracted. That news has been retracted.
Charu, my name is Arshpreet. Your name is
No,
Charu.
I'm least interested in
that.
But that news has been retracted.
I don't want to politicize that information. Okay, Charu, let me have a word over here. I don't want to politicize that information. That information is in itself being negated at the moment. The US President has quoted the figures that it was not $21 million for Bangladesh, it was for India.
It's on the DOJ website.
And it's very much there on DOJ. And we are looking at the amount of $29 million which had been allocated specifically to Bangladesh, out of which an amount has already been
retracted that article.
Now, see, the only request is, the Bharatiya Janata Party we know is bewildered, but do not interrupt me. You have had your time, you have your time again, so hear me patiently. Number one, Donald Trump has made a statement. The Bharatiya Janata Party has issued exactly same statement. We know the Howdy Modi event. We know the Namaste Trump event that happened in Ahmedabad. We know Mr. Modi says, Donald Trump mere dost hai. We know all of that. But the fact of the matter is that where is the evidence that there's none? Number two, you have been contradicted by a very, very credible media outlet, a paper. Number three, I want to ask the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Oh,
that,
your paper is
white
today
paper,
bigger than the
if-
government of the
if-
United
I
States of
can't
America.
continue like that. The Bharatiya
And
Janata
that
Party
paper has
is right.
retracted that piece of information.
She can speak.
No,
She can have a
Akansha, the
No,
point
you have-
is
you
he's
have-
quoting an
Akansha,
article
I
which
can't
is
compete
retracted.
like
Okay,
this.
Ashpreet, Charu, let him have
You're
at least.
outdated.
No,
That
I'm
news
sure I will
article
give
has
you
been
time,
retracted,
Charu.
Akansha.
Yes, let him make a point, and then I will give you time. I'm going to keep both of you in the same
He's making
window.
a fool of himself. I'm
Charu,
helping
hear me
him.
out. I'm going to keep both of you in the same window. I will give you time. The moment, Ashpreet, I will butt in to, in fact, tell you that your minute is over. Please go ahead, finish what you have to say, and then Charu would like to respond to that.
Well, the Bharatiya Janata Party is clearly nervous, interrupting me for the fifth time.
If you can make points instead of
Well-
using adjectives.
What? I'm sorry, if adjectives are to be used, I will use them. But what's
We are running
better
short of time. Let's
I
go
think
ahead with the
using
discussion.
adjectives is-
Okay,
I think
Ashpreet, let's
using
go ahead.
One
Let's go
second, allow me to complete. This control should have been exercised on the Bharatiya Janata Party as well. I'd hope to see that in the future if it happens again.
No, I
Number
appreciate
two,
you doing
allow me
that.
to complete now. Allow me to complete, please. When it comes, they say that actions speak louder than words. The Bharatiya Janata Party has the power to issue a white paper. I challenge the BJP. Do you have the audacity to say that we will issue white paper on this? Let it be clear who's lying and who's not. And if the Bharatiya Janata Party is ready to accept the challenge, the BJP spokesperson may say that. And one more thing, we all know what happened by the Bharatiya Janata Party's Chief Minister, Mr. Fadnavis. He discussed opportunities on collaboration with USAID on November 10, 2022. Number two, Smriti Irani ji has been the USAID ambassador for 4 years, as per her own statements. Number three, RSS had the assistance of CIA during emergency,
clear.
and the US showered a lot of praises on Jayaprakash Narayan ji when the role was being discussed.
If
in
you're going to
Indira
talk
Gandhi
about
government.
CIA, then you know it has been discussed by Ambassador Monahan, who was the US ambassador to India in the year 2010. He has written in his novel that the CIA was backing Prime Minister Indira Gandhi when she was in power. So
When
let's
Indira
not.
Gandhi government was being fought by Jayaprakash
Can I
Narayan,
come in now,
US was
Akansha?
starring
I allowed
praises.
him to
All right.
speak.
US was
Ashpreet,
starring praises. My only question
he's-
is,
he's
will the
speaking like a
BJP,
kid
will
right
the
now.
BJP accept
Now
the
can I
challenge
come
for
in,
white
Akansha?
paper? Are
And
you
I'm
ready?
only
All right,
speaking
you
like
posed
a
your
kid.
question. This is
Are
the
you ready
second
to
time.
accept the challenge
This is
or
the
not?
second time, Ashpreet, you are raising the demand for a white paper. Heard you now. Let Charu speak. Yes, Charu.
No, I asked for them to accept
Now,
it.
Yes.
one,
Would you let
we
her
are the
speak?
ones who are saying that all the names of all the beneficiaries of this money needs to be made public. Why not?
What of
You're
electoral
working in a
bonds?
way which is against your
What of
very
electoral
country.
bonds?
Now, Ashpreet,
Court
don't.
declared it
No,
unconstitutional,
Akansha,
no?
now listen.
Supreme Court declared it
Akansha is
unconstitutional,
बच्चे को
no?
चुप कराइए. I don't
Ashpreet,
think he
please,
understands anything at all.
no? Who's being,
Ashpreet, you know,
who's
you actually are
who's
not
answering
worthy
now?
of being on a
Ashpreet,
debate with me
electoral
because you
Practice
heckle
what
like
you
a
preach.
child.
Ashpreet, practice what you
Unconstitutional.
preach. I'll have to mute
course,
the people
I do.
who
Ashpreet,
interrupt on this
but, you
discussion.
know,
But,
we
but
need
one
to
should
have.
also, one should
We need to
excuse
have
the
a
same
say.
thing that they were doing.
Yes, okay,
My
Ashpreet,
question
I'm going
is,
to
Why
what of
don't
the
we
electoral
mute him
bonds?
and then I will
All right,
speak.
What of
please.
the electoral bonds?
I'll have to mute you. Why are we
can,
going
but
over
what
to
of the
electoral bonds right
You
now?
should have muted the BJP
Let's
spokesperson also.
then Ashpreet,
You should have- no, no, you
let's
should
go
have- you
point
should
by
have done the
point.
same to
I
BJP
heard you
spokesperson
out,
also.
Ashpreet. Let's go point by point. Let's
Definitely.
I'm waiting to speak.
Please
But the
don't
next
heckle
time,
us
please
like
do that
this.
for the BJP spokesperson as well. What of the electoral bonds which were declared
If she
unconstitutional
speaks
by the
up, I will
Supreme
have to
Court?
mute Charu also. But
And
she's not speaking over you right now.
She was a lot of times.
Now can
Ashpreet,
I
don't
speak,
be
please?
childish. Charu.
No, I
Not
was
being
just.
childish about this. You are being childish by being
Okay.
unfair.
Ashpreet, you know, Akansha, minutes of your debates have been lost to just this child protesting again and again and heckling. This cannot be allowed to go on a channel as reputed as yours. Teach him some manners or tell him to sit at home and not do all this. Now, let me put some facts in front of you. One, he mentioned Smriti Irani ji. She was a ambassador at the time when Sheila ji was the chief minister in Delhi. What are you trying to say? You're contradicting yourself. Point number two, the article that you are quoting today has been retracted by Indian Express. And you are actually wanting to hold an article of a newspaper above a official statement of the President of the United States of America and an official Department of United States of America, DOGE, which is written on its own Twitter handle, X handle, very clearly, $21 million for India for increasing voter turnout. And what an irony that is. India's voter turnout is higher than America's. India's spend on election is higher than America's. So where was this money given? It was not given given to India. This money was given to Indians who were working behind the scenes to either build up narratives, who were getting funded for applying these toolkit statements on various social media handles, which were a part of protests which broke out across India again and again. CAA protests happened, farmers protest happened. We had been complaining about foreign funding for those as well, right? So Arshpreet right now is understanding very less about the one big thing. The one big thing is that no amount of fake news is going to get you out of this. Second, you did not even apologize for the way Rahul Gandhi has openly said he's fighting against the state of India. You are trying to create anarchy by going abroad and saying Sikhs are not safe in India, turbans nahi pehen sakte. What kind of stupid fake news is that, and what kind of a person talks like that? And if you're going to sit in the Parliament of India, the least you can do is not say things like you're fighting against the state of India when you're abroad. That's the worst thing, and you're not even defending it.
Okay. Ashpreet, I think I'll give you a quick 30 seconds. I have other guests also patiently.
Number one, I strongly object to the words used by the BJP spokesperson. This shows what the BJP thinks, how the BJP talks, what the BJP has to offer. Number two, my only concern with the Bharatiya Janata Party is just because the report has been retracted, will the Bharatiya Janata Party go on to say that you will file a case against them for having lied to the people of India? Have you initiated any action against them? Has any complaint been filed? Has any FIR been filed? Number two, I ask you,
So what is
will
your
the Bharatiya
source? You
Janata
don't
Party
have any source.
All right.
I'll have to.
Look who's being the child now.
Ashpreet,
He's a
I'll
kid.
have
There is no source.
Okay.
Who cannot listen.
Ashpreet
Who's
and
being the
Charu,
child
I'm
now?
running
Akansha,
short of
would you
time.
please keep her quiet now?
Right. I'll have to
interrupting me
move
again.
over to Ayush and Avishkar, who are also, please
I'll not get to
appreciate their
answer
time.
you.
They have also
You've
carved out
interrupted
time.
me.
Avishkar, I think what's also important right now is to be able to trace the funding. Many are asking where is the funding going? If the CCEP website is defunct right now, what is the challenge in terms of how to track the funding and how to, substantiate the claims that are being made as far as the funding going to George Soros or all these NGOs that are being claimed are linked with the Congress party?
Yes, thanks Akanksha. Thank you for having me on the show. I've been patiently listening to both.
Yes, thank you for being so patient.
Yes. See, first we have to put it in context. What is this entire USAID? It's a haloed program of about 70-80 years. It's been going on. There is billions of dollars received by India in funding.
And you're looking at a timeline between 2001 and 2024.
2024, as I believe the figure is 2.9 billion from what I've read. I must put that caveat out. But when we look at funding and the final causal link between what that funding is used for, I would not agree with the BJP spokesperson when she says that funding is used for propaganda activities, because that causal link has not been established. Point number one. Point number two is that until the investigative agencies come out, and I believe the investigation is currently underway, and unless that investigation pinpoints that this NGO was using these people to use that funding of 21, today even that issue of 21 million is currently in doubt whether it was for India or Bangladesh. That's a separate issue. I'll leave the benefit of the doubt. It may be for India, assuming that funding is for voter turnout. Now, what does voter turnout have for speaking against the nation? That final causal link must be established, and for your viewers to understand, it is very important to establish that whether increasing voter turnout is an issue of speaking against the nation. That's the third issue. And the fourth issue is that this seems to be an internal fight between the incumbent US president and his predecessor, and what policies were there earlier. So it is natural for a new government to come and question what was done earlier.
All right.
So I want to emphasize that today, unless these things are, the white paper establishing where the money is gone, etc., is out there and the investigation is complete, it would be too early for us to establish.
Okay, point taken. I think that's a very valid point that has been made. Charu, I'll give you 30 seconds. I need to give Avishkar, Ayush, in fact, closing thoughts.
Yeah.
Will the BJP issue white paper?
The US president has said that this money this money has been used for a
White
regime
paper?
change. So the regime is NDA government, Modi government, BJP government. Changing of this regime would essentially mean Rahul Gandhi and his cronies
No
taking
white
over.
paper?
So there a statement
White
very
paper
clearly has been made for a regime change, and that is self-explanatory. Akansha, I would urge you and your channel to please make sure you call adults on your shows.
All right.
Please don't call heckling children.
Ayush
Worse than
Nambiar,
teenagers.
let me quickly have your closing thoughts. I think when an allegation as massive as this, that there was a memorandum of understanding which was signed in the year 2012 under the then CEC, and yes, Mr. S.Y. Qureshi has slammed those claims that have been made, but there has to be greater proof to back that no, there was no fiscal involvement with that MOU. Just by S.Y. Qureshi taking to X and posting a tweet over there, is that going to suffice? Because this also goes on to say that our own Election Commission of India was being tampered with, which in fact symbolizes the democracy of our own country.
I am so sorry, but this debate is making me very sad. It is making me see two political parties, their representatives, advocate, very wise people, not at all talking about the very soul of a nation, which is sovereignty. Here, it is not about whether the BJP was wrong, whether it was the Congress that was wrong, whether somebody has taken money. It is fact that any protest, any political rebellion, when it happens, there is major funding that comes across from all places. My concern is sovereignty of this country, the very election process that India, the people of this country trust, was manipulated by foreign funds, whether simple. Is it another attempt to disturb the sovereign thought process of this country, where the opposition is further weakened, or the party which is already in power, the BJP, or the NDA, are they to go ahead and get certain political points with the international affairs? I do not agree with sovereignty being disturbed. I condemn this. I am very unhappy.
Charu, I want to have your thoughts in fact as well, because everybody is questioning that if Elon Musk has talked about how Doge has cancelled the funding which was to be released, which is the $21 million amount, then what is the amount that is being referred to that has come to India so far?
Yeah, so when I was giving you these numbers at the beginning, Akansha, and I will repeat them again for our viewers' benefit. During the NDA regime, I'm talking about the last 10-11 years of Modi government, the government has received 1.5 million, but private NGOs, advocacy groups, etc. have received 2,579 million USD, which comes to over 22,000
I think you've answered,
rupees.
You've answered, and I'll have to leave it at that. Many thanks to you, Charu, and the gentleman for joining in. And with that, we now slip into a quick break. But amid the row over Karnataka's spending guarantees, there's already a massive furor erupting over Karnataka's Deputy CM D.K. Shivkumar's remarks about Bengaluru's development. What is he saying? He's saying that even God can't save the roads of Bengaluru. So, are the Janta now being taken for granted? That's a question we'll be posing to our guests.
We have seen 4 coffins come out of Gaza. We know that one of them has been confirmed as the hostage of dead Lifshitz. 3 of the others are said to be the Bibas family. We don't know. We haven't heard verification of that and confirmation of that yet. But we are standing here to stand with their families in their hour of hope or grief. And we're standing here to make sure that we campaign for every single one of the hostages to be brought home. Hamas has done this terrible thing. They've kidnapped babies, toddlers, mothers, grandparents. And we're here to stand with them and to call for them all to be brought home now.
You anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only God in kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I should. It's of Israel. We pray for the ascent of their souls. May the garden of
Where is the humanity? These people are toddlers, children, babies, mothers, grandfathers. We need them all brought home now. We need every single one of those people who was kidnapped away from their homes, who's been held for over 500 days, to be brought home to their loved ones.
Let them go! Let them go now! Let them go!
I can see a little bit on this slide.
We have seen 4 coffins come out of Gaza. We know that one of them has been confirmed as the hostage Oded Lifshitz. 3 of the others are said to be the Bibas family. We don't know. We haven't heard verification of that and confirmation of that yet. But we are standing here to stand with their families in their hour of hope or grief. And we're standing here to make sure that we campaign for every single one of the hostages to be brought home. Hamas has done this terrible thing. They've kidnapped babies, toddlers, mothers, grandparents, and we're here to stand with them and to call for them all to be brought home now.
You anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only God in kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I should. It's of Israel. We pray for the ascent of their souls. May the garden of
Where is the humanity? These people are toddlers, children, babies, mothers, grandfathers. We need them all brought home now. We need every single one of those people who was kidnapped away from their homes, who's been held for over 500 days, to be brought home to their loved ones.
Let them go! Let them go now! Let them go!
I can see a little bit on this slide.
Welcome back. Now, Karnataka's ruling Congress government is facing intense criticism, not only for failing to deliver on its electoral promises, but also for its inability to address the growing civic issues in Bengaluru, India's IT hub. Just yesterday, Karnataka's Minister KJ George said that guarantees are not monthly salaries. This after funds for two of their poll guarantees were delayed. And today, the state's deputy CM has only added insult to injury, because DK Shivakumar has said that even divine intervention from God cannot solve Bengaluru's growing traffic and infrastructural problems overnight. But all this comes at a time when the Congress has decided to build another party office in the state's Dharwad district. Nearly 3,000 square meters of land valued at over 5 crore rupees has been allotted for just 28 lakh rupees. The BJP has in fact hit out at the Congress party, saying they have funds for party office but not for guarantees and development. While the state government is under fire for failing to address Bengaluru's severe traffic and infrastructural problems, Karnataka's Deputy Chief Minister's latest remarks have now led critics to question the party's focus on political interests rather than public welfare. Let's also tell you why so. The Karnataka cabinet has approved the land for construction of a district Congress office. At the same time, over nearly 3,000 square meters of land in Hubli Dharwad to the Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee has been allotted. The land belonging to the Hubli Dharwad Municipal Corporation is valued at over 5 crore rupees as per the guidance value, but has been allotted at a meagre sum of 28 lakh rupees. The BJP has of course slammed this decision. They are accusing the Congress of prioritizing its party infrastructure over governance. Justifying the move, the law minister in Karnataka, H.K. Patil, has said that the cabinet has made this decision in line with past precedents, and even the BJP has received land for their own party offices. So Bengaluru has officially been ranked as the world's second slowest city in terms of traffic movement. It's also raised concerns about the city's worsening infrastructure. Recent reports show a staggering rise in the number of vehicles on Bengaluru's roads. Can these roads even afford the kind of vehicles that are there? Two-wheeler registrations have surged by 19%. Private car numbers have skyrocketed by 340%. Non-transport vehicles have also seen a 45% increase in numbers, leading to an overwhelming surge in traffic. In total, over 7 lakh vehicles have been added to Bengaluru's roads in just 1 year, contributing to its already strained infrastructure. The total number of vehicles now plying in the state has crossed the 1 crore mark, further exacerbating traffic congestion and slowing down the movement of people and goods. So as DK Shivakumar adds insult to injury, no guarantee of ease of living or not. That's a question we'll be in fact posing to our guests in just a bit.
Within 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಭಗವಂತ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ನಡೆದಾಡೋದು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
We are planning, and the minister in charge, Mr. Shivakumar, is also looking at so many alternatives. What Mr. Shivakumar has mentioned, it cannot be within 3 years or 2 years. It cannot be a short-term, measure. It will take a little longer time.
Why he need the Bengaluru Development Ministry? Better to quit, is it?
right, Surabhi Hodigare, who's the spokesperson of Karnataka BJP, Syed Asad Abbas, who's a political analyst, and Ayush Nambiar, who's a political analyst, continues to stay with us. Many thanks to you, gentlemen, and Surabhi for joining in. In fact, Syed Asad Abbas, I want to ask you, what justifies this kind of splurging by the Congress party in Karnataka? You know, it's rather shocking that land worth over 5 crore rupees is now being allotted for a meager sum of 28 lakhs, that too for the KPCC office.
Well, let there be a full-fledged, complete investigation on that front if anything like this is ascertained. As a matter of fact, the Bharatiya Janata Party is in opposition in my state of Karnataka. I think they're welcome to go to the courts. But what I was informed with respect to this show is DK Shiv Kumar's statement with respect to Bengaluru. Let me quickly remind my friends of the Bharatiya Janata Party that, let me quote the Times of India, June 21st, 2022. Adarnya Modi ji also said, 40-month deadline to be set in Bengaluru to ease the traffic issue. Who was the chief minister then? Basavaraj Bommai. What happened? Lo, behold, we're almost 3 years complete. Nothing has happened. The same thing DK Shiv Kumar ji has said. During the Namarasta event, what did he mention? He mentioned about the works which is done. 40-kilometer double-decker project done. Additionally, 1,700 kilometers of roads here in Bengaluru and Karnataka white topping is in its process. The fact of the matter is the Bharatiya Janata Party time and again attacking the Congress party is not going to help. If you really want the best of Bengaluru, it is time for you to do action. Also, let me quickly remind the BJP spokesperson here, respected ma'am, do you know that seven times
she has
your
not
chief
even
minister
spoken to
has
you, but
been in BJP?
Syed Asad Abbas, I just want to ask you, if there is no money to establish the guarantees that had been promised or to even address the issue of potholes in the roads, where is the money coming from to build a KPCC office in Dharwad? And that is
Like
not
I said,
information that has to be ascertained.
Sure. Of course, Akanksha ji, like I said previously, let there be a full-fledged investigation on this front. Is it done on the state party, on the state's exchequer, or is it the personal fund of the Congress party?
All right,
Also,
thank you for dodging that question, but Surabhi,
not dodging, I am answering you.
Okay,
Surabhi,
I want to bring you in. I'm
not dodging, Akanksha ji. I'm answering you. If there is discrepancy, do the investigation. What else would you want to hear? I am not a Congress party spokesperson. I am a political analyst
can they
presenting you my views.
It is a fact that we are presenting to you and you are not responding to how is the Congress party able to now bring up these funds. Surabhi Hodigare, I want to bring you in on that point. In fact, I am reminded of Marie Antoinette, who went on to say that if they don't have bread to eat, give them cakes. Can the people of Karnataka in fact afford to travel on these pothole-ridden roads and not to forget the rising traffic on these roads as well?
Let me say this with absolute seriousness that the situation in Bengaluru, the city, the capital city of Karnataka, the Silicon Valley of our country, the city is in shambles, and the last 2 years have added absolutely increasing distress to this condition. It might have been because there was significant number of people working from home, more people coming to Bengaluru to work, but whatever the cause be, the situation is that we are in a mess, and that mess, DK Shiv Kumar, who took up the mantle of solving the Bengaluru crisis, today brings in God and says even God can't solve the problem. Sir, there are simple steps to solve the problem that many civic activists as well as the BJP has been talking about for a long time. Before I list those things,
and before you list those, Surabhi, I'm also going to ask you to keep in mind that there was the Basavaraj Bommai government also in 2022 when the pothole-ridden roads were also being flagged off then. So this kind of civic nightmare that is staring at Bengaluru today is not a development that's taken place overnight. I'm sure you'll agree.
May I complete my point? I reiterate that I said that for the last 2 years, especially post-pandemic, the type of traffic, the type of volume of cars that we are seeing on the roads is a mess. And I take full responsibility as a Bengaluru citizen to say that we have not worked together with governments have not worked in our favor. Now, what is it that we can do right now? First and foremost, Mr. DK Shiv Kumar, hold the BBMP elections, make the BMLTA, which was supposed to be a nodal agency to ensure that there is coordination between different traffic mobility agencies, functional. bring 5,000 electric buses, some of the things that have been mentioned by many commuters as well as civic activists. Stop this obsession with the tunnel road. Do you want Bangalore to suffer for another 15 years under dust and debris? And you ask me where they get the money for for their party headquarters. Please ask K.N. Rajanna, minister, and somebody who has spoken against D.K. Shivkumar and said that he used the party name to buy a Dollars colony house, which is known to be one of the most expensive localities in Bengaluru. Surely Mr. K.N. Rajanna will have more, knowledge of where the Congress is getting money from. Having said that, let us not, whether you're an analyst today or a political party spokesperson, let us not undermine that our city is in a bad place. As a BJP,
can I get to respond?
yes, I say this with complete responsibility. My party.
Can I get equal
Yes,
time to
Syed.
respond?
Asad, I'm going to give you time.
Hold the BBMP election now.
All right. Syed Asad Abbas, I think that's a very valid point that Surabhi is also making. I'm sure you would want to respond to that. But I think one will question the money coming in to construct the KPCC office, to come up for renovations of Siddaramaia's own office. Where is the money coming from? 2.5 crores perhaps could also be utilized in a certain patch of Bengaluru. I'm sure you'll say that it's a big amount, but I'm sure roads could be fixed with that amount.
Akanksha ji, I will definitely answer that. Firstly, Surabhi ji mentioned about, I know she's a prominent Bengaluru citizen here. Ma'am, I have lived 37 years of my life in Bengaluru, and I can tell you this is not the matter in 2 years. Hand on your heart, ma'am, wasn't this problem there when Yediyurappa ji, BJP chief minister, was there 4 times? Wasn't it there when Jagdish Shettar? Allow me to continue. I did not interrupt you. I did not interrupt you. This is not fair. Don't interrupt. Allow me to complete my point.
Surabhi, allow him to make his point. Surabhi, allow Asad to make his point.
Akanksha ji, can I be allowed to complete my point?
Surabhi, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to come up with
Surabhi, this is not fair. I did not interrupt you.
Right.
I did not interrupt you.
Asad, please go ahead. Okay, let's go ahead.
Give me the same courtesy. Okay? Thank you. Allow me 1 minute, ma'am. Okay, thank you. The fact of the matter is, if you are going to do the political blame game, it is not going to help you, ma'am. You're accountable for your actions and your responsibilities. Jagdish Shettar was a BJP CM. D.V. Sadanand Gowda was BJP CM. Basawaraj Bommai was a BJP CM. 37 years of my life I have stayed in this country. This is my karma bhumi, janma bhumi. I will live here and I'll do my work here. And nothing was done by your own. And today it's very easy for you, in your comfort, to blame the game completely on Congress party. The fact is, ma'am, beat BJP, beat Congress, beat JDS. You need a political intent. You need a political will.
Okay. Surabhi, I think the other allegation is also, which H.K. Patil was also referring to, that we have not, broken away from precedent. In fact, the BJP was also allocating land for party offices. This is with regards to the corruption allegation that, there has been land also being devalued worth over 5 crore rupees has been allotted at a meager sum of 28 lakh rupees. How do you respond to that allegation as well?
I want to start with Syed Abbas's comment. Look, Bengaluru citizens, whether they are leaning towards the right or left, are tired and absolutely fed up with this political backshots. Syed, you're not even a political party spokesperson. No compulsions for you to even say that. Today, I am telling you that there is data that shows us that the average time taken to cross, major ring roads has increased significantly in the last 2 years. And I'm saying this, that there has been a surge in vehicular traffic. Data shows that. Because
it was not there when Bommai was the chief minister.
Various. Can I finish?
Selective of you, man.
Can I finish?
How selective of you?
I understand you're trying to get into Congress party, but can I have a word over here?
What he said?
Can I please have a word here? Are you
Asad, she didn't interrupt you when you were talking.
Do you have any concerns in the city of Bengaluru?
Bengaluru citizen or the cap of BJP spokesperson? Because if you speak as a citizen of Bengaluru, then you need to call out your own government. You need to call them out.
Asad, she didn't speak over you. Let Surabhi please make a point. No, we are getting into a very tit-for-tat game over here. I'm afraid I'll have to bring in Ayush also. But
I would like to
finish your point. I'm giving you 15 seconds. I'm running short of time.
I understand that Ayush hasn't spoken yet, but I just want to say this. If you were a true blue Bengaluru activist, you would have been
If you're a true Bangalorean, you will not be a BJP spokesperson.
I'll have to request my team to mute you.
But please, can I get a word in over here? You are an analyst on every issue, but the true
Ma'am, if you speak as
say very clearly, invest in public transport, invest in public transport. Please stop with this tunnel vision idea that DK Shivkumar and Congress are pushing. Bengaluru deserves the solution.
Okay.
He is happy to work with you on this solution.
Okay, let me please give closing thoughts to Ayush Nambiar. Ayush Nambiar, I think what the people of Bengaluru have been constantly flagging off is that there's an internal blame game whenever there are issues. At a time when, think tanks have been saying that the maximum number of road deaths back in the year 2022 were blamed on Bengaluru. I want to ask you, how can they ensure better coordination between bodies like the BBMP, BWSSB and even the BDA?
See, traffic in Bangalore is I would say it's no joke. Whenever I land, I keep go to Bangalore every once in a week, and I'm not lying. I don't go outside of the airport area. There's a decent hotel where I ask people to come and meet me. To just give a small reply to Mr. Abbas here. Abbas ji, you're a very, very well-renowned analyst, and I must ask you, in 37 years that you've been in Bangalore, you've mentioned 3 chief ministers of the BJP, but unfortunately, you've not mentioned the other long list of Congress chief ministers. But I don't want to get into the past of the past mistakes, and I don't want to dwell on what I want. The will of the government. Now, for example, I'll respect and I'll talk about a chief minister of Delhi known as Sheila Dikshit. Sheila Dikshit ji, I remember there was a major traffic issue known as the Safdarjung crossing of AIIMS, Safdarjung and Central Delhi. Now, that particular bridge had the worst traffic at a time when there were not even as many cars. And I promise today, with at least I would say 100x number of cars that have increased in the last 15 years, that particular flyover, that particular infrastructural development, which is a big roundabout, has really helped. My entire concern and my entire issue with Mr. DK Shivkumar today is that where is the old Congress mindset when they were actually trying to solve problems? Give one last statement, Akansha ji, if I may. Abbas ji also made a very, very strong remark regarding that, the funds of the the Congress, and how are they, buying the land for themselves. I think just the debate before this, we really know where the money is actually coming from.
Syed Asad Abbas, yes, please go ahead. 30 seconds and 30 seconds for Surbhi.
Yeah, thank you. I think the analyst who's made a point, respected sir, it's easy to just listen to respond. You did not hear me clearly. Please see the footage of this video. I blame the Congress, I blame the BJP, and I blame the JDS. All 3 parties together.
But again, we've come back to blame game. I'm sure this discussion can do better without blame game. Surabhi, please.
Since there is a BJP spokesperson.
Okay, Surabhi.
If the gentleman could give me 30 seconds exactly.
Please go ahead.
is an organization that was put together by the BJP when it was in government to ensure that there is better coordination between different mobility related agencies. First and foremost, make that functional. Second, the DPR for the tunnel road project has shown incredible errors. The amount of money that it's going to take to build a tunnel road, it's just really ridiculous.
All right.
Please take the idea, invest in public transport, increase the number of buses that the BMTC has.
Okay.
Third, this aspect of, listen, we can't solve Bengaluru, we are the most civic educated society and city that there is. Bring everybody together. It is absolutely solvable. Hold the BBMP elections now and ensure that ward committees are formed ASAP.
Well, I'm sure if DK Shivkumar says that even God can't rescue the roads of Bengaluru, I wonder if God will be able to deliver on those Congress promises as well as far as the guarantees are concerned. But I'm going to leave you with the fact that the NCRB data has highlighted that Bengaluru happens to be one of the cities which is topping the deaths that have been caused due to civic issues, and that is the NCRB data of 2023. Many thanks to you, Surabhi, and the gentleman for joining in. Now, before I quickly wrap up, Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke at the 98th Marathi Sahitya Sammelan in Delhi, and speaking about Mumbai, Maharashtra and films, Prime Minister has praised the movie Chhawa for smashing box office records in the country. Listen in to what the Prime Minister had to say, and thank you so much for watching Clean Speak.
100 वर्ष पहले राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ का बीज बोया था। आज ये एक वटवृक्ष के रूप में
अपना शताब्दी वर्ष मना रहा है और संघ के ही कारण मुझे मराठी भाषा और मराठी परंपरा से जुड़ने का भी सौभाग्य प्राप्त हुआ। ये महाराष्ट्र और मुंबई ही है जिसने मराठी फिल्मों के साथ साथ हिंदी सिनेमा को ये ऊंचाई दी है। और इन दिनों तो छावा की धूम मची हुई थी।
सस्ते वाले
We have seen 4 coffins come out of Gaza. We know that one of them has been confirmed as the hostage Oded Lifshitz. 3 of the others are said to be the Bibas family. We don't know, we haven't heard verification of that and confirmation of that yet, but we are standing here to stand with their families in their hour of hope or grief, and we're standing here to make sure that we campaign for every single one of the hostages to be brought home. Hamas has done this terrible thing. They've kidnapped babies, toddlers, mothers, grandparents, and we're here to stand with them and to call for them all to be brought home now.
You anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only God in kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I should. It's Israel. We pray for the ascent of their souls. May the garden of the
Where is the humanity? These people are toddlers, children, babies, mothers, grandfathers. We need them all brought home now. We need every single one of those people who was kidnapped away from their homes, who's been held for over 500 days, to be brought home to their loved ones.
Let them go! Let them go! Now! Let them go!
I can see a little bit on this slide.
We have seen 4 coffins come out of Gaza. We know that one of them has been confirmed as the hostage or dead Lifshitz. 3 of the others are said to be the Bibas family. We don't know. We haven't heard verification of that and confirmation of that yet. But we are standing here to stand with their families in their hour of hope or grief. And we're standing here to make sure that we campaign for every single one of the hostages to be brought home. Hamas has done this terrible thing. They've kidnapped babies, toddlers, mothers, grandparents. And we're here to stand with them and to call for them all to be brought home now.
You anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only God in kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I should. To Israel, we pray for the ascent of their souls. May the garden of
Where is the humanity? These people are toddlers, children, babies, mothers, grandfathers. We need them all brought home.